Ciao a tutti and welcome to Nonna Gina's Food Adventures and my kitchen. Today I want to show you basic pasta. Now this here is your no-fail recipe, and your basic recipe is for every 100 grams of flour you use 1 egg, a little bit of olive oil and some salt. Now this pasta will make your lasagna sheets, it will make fettuccine, it will make spaghetti, it will make little bows, which I will show you, it will make pappardelle, it will actually even make a little macaroni, which I'm going to show you later on using just a wooden spoon and your little gnocchi gizmo here. You just make little squares, put it on and you roll it, and that will give you all the little grooves on the macaroni, but that will come later. There is a different, the ratio to make ravioli is very different because the ratio is this here, because it's doubled over with this particular recipe, it will become quite thick and hard on the outside of the dough. So that one there is probably for another time, where we use more egg yolks to egg whites, but that is another video in itself. So let's get started. Now what I've got here, I'm only making 200 grams of flour, which means 2 eggs. So you can do this in a food processor, not a problem at all. Personally, I love doing it on a wooden board. There's nothing more satisfying than getting all your hands dirty and carrying on. So let's get started. So we're just putting the flour, we're making a little well, and we're going to crack our eggs straight in there. A good pinch of salt and some for luck. And we need about a tablespoon of oil. Now this just gives it a really nice luscious feel to it. So start off first mixing it with a fork and slowly incorporating the flour into it. You always use a good flour. For 00 is great. You can use all-purpose flour or plain flour as such, but if you use your 00, and you can see that it's quite fine milled, it's very, very fine, so you get a really nice smooth pasta. And my little paddle here. See, as you can see, it's all coming, and it looks a bit crumbly, but don't worry about that because that will all come together. So pull my sleeves up and we start to knead. There we go. And you'll see that it will soon come into a nice smooth dough. So just give it a good knead. You just want to work the glutens in the flour and start it. And there you have it. Basically, doesn't matter if it's not completely all, because once you put it through the pasta roller, it will actually just become really smooth, and I'll show you that. I'm just going to get some cling film because that now needs to rest for about 30 minutes, and that just lets all the glutens relax. Just do that, pop it in the fridge for about half an hour and you're ready to go. And now we're back. The dough has rested for half an hour in the fridge. Let's get started. And there we have it. If you have a look, the dough has actually changed consistency. It's gone from quite a firm dough to quite an elastic dough. Have a look at that. That just means that the glutens have relaxed and we're ready to make our pasta. Now always have extra flour on hand, and I'm just going to move this over here so I can access it easily. Now the amount of flour that you will use while doing this varies a lot because it depends on, firstly, the flour you use, Secondly, the humidity in the air. There's so many variables. So some days you may not need a lot of flour onto this, but some days you may. Now cut this into manageable pieces. So I'm going to do probably, there we go. And that way we can work with one piece of dough at a time. You don't want it to dry out, so just keep it covered. So here's our first piece. Let's go. There we go. Now always flatten it out. And what we're going to do, the reason we do this through the larger settings and then work our way down to whatever thickness we want, is because it's what's called laminating the pasta. You cannot skip this process at all. And what it does, it folds the glutens on top of each other. And you will see how I fold it to get those glutens getting onto each other so they can stretch quite easily. There we go. And this is what I mean by laminating. We're just folding it over on top onto itself. And there we go. These, I'll work with two pieces and show you exactly what we're doing. So they're all nicely laminated. Now we want to stretch this dough. So we're going to just one by one lower our pasta machine. And you just keep working your way down. Now there's your beautiful pasta sheets. Always let them rest a little bit before you actually, they just need to dry that little bit. But I just want to let you know on the actual pasta machines themselves. I have 3 pasta machines. One that's imported from Italy. Then I have this one that fits onto my KitchenAid. And I have one of those manual ones because everybody has one of those. Now this actual settings, I can't exactly tell you to go on to number 7 because all 3 of mine do 3 different thicknesses. So go by eye and how you feel of them. Now this here, if you can get in pretty close and just have a look at how thin this is, you can go thinner, you can go a little bit thicker, whatever you decide. But I just want to show you now the different types of pasta that can be made. So we're going to start off with, we'll do some lasagna sheets. So there's your lasagna sheets, all done, ready for when you can dry them out and they will be ready to go when you are. And we're going to change from the pasta roller to pasta cutters. Okay, so we're going to make some fettuccine. So here we go. Beautiful, lovely strands of fettuccine. Have a look at that. Beautiful fettuccine. So make sure they're well floured and keep them on the board to dry out. Next one we're going to change this and I'll show you. You can make spaghetti. There we go. And there you have it. Beautiful spaghetti. Look at that. There we go. And that's our spaghetti made. Now, with this here, we're not going to use our machine. This here, we're going to make pappardelle. Now, What it is just a thicker pasta that is cut very similar to your fettuccine or tagliatelle as we call them. Pappardelle, have a look at that. See, they are a thicker ribbon of pasta. Just continue making Now you can roll this up and cut them, but I'm very pedantic because when you cut them, you seem to get a little bit of a jagged edge on one corner, and I don't really like that, so that's me. So there you go. These are your pappardelle. Now, here we go. What we're going to do is we're going to make some tiny little bows. We're going to use a serrated little cutter, and we'll go on one end and we'll just cut little strips like that. There we go. This is good to get the kids involved in this because they love making these. And we're just going to cut them in half again. And all we do is just pinch them together. And there we have tiny little bows. Don't they look so sweet? They're just gorgeous. Now, there is another type of pasta that I want to show you. Okay. Now, for this particular pasta, we have to make little squares. Squares, and we might get one more. We'll get two more maybe. There we go. Okay, now this is our little gnocchi gadget that I was talking to you about before. So we need your little gnocchi maker and a wooden spoon, and all you do, lay that on there, roll it up and just press it together, and look, you get beautiful little macaroni with, there we go, and we continue with these. So there you have it. That's all the different types of pasta. Now remember all these little bits that we had left over? They never ever go to waste. Cut them into tiny little strips like that. Toss a little bit of flour in them. And there you have some pasta for soups. Squares of pasta that you can add to any soups, broths, anything you want. So from all of this, you can make so many shapes and sizes. But I will show you one thing, what I have done. Okay, so here we have it. Now these I've made a couple of days ago. These are pappardelle, as I said, Gav's favourites, and I always have these on hand because he just loves them. Now you can see they've actually just dried, air dried for a couple of days, but you have to make sure that they dry really, really well, because if they're not dried and you put them in a plastic bag, they will go off. Okay, and these are the fettuccine that I made a few days ago as well, and again, let them dry really, really well, and they will keep for 1 month, 2 months, all of these, but they have to be dried really well before you keep them. So there you have it, all different types of pastas. We have the lasagna sheets, then we have the tagliatelle, which is just a little bit wider than a spaghetti. Then we have your spaghetti, we have the macaroni, we have the actual little soup, diced pasta, we have little bows which we've made, and the pappardelle. So I hope you like these different types of pasta and stuff. Don't forget the recipe is down below. So if you have any comments regarding any sort of pasta, leave it for me and I'll get back to you. Maybe it's something you'd like me to do. I'll be quite willing to do that. If you like this, give me a like on this and subscribe to the channel, because you'll find that you'll get so many different tips, recipes, whether it be Italian, vegan, different cuisines. So join me next time in Nonna Gina's Food Adventures kitchen for another adventure.